All right, greetings, African family. This is Bomani Tayamba. I'm here with my good brother, Derek Word, and we're here to this get into some of these wonderful live stream conversation that we have a whole list of for the next few months. And this one that we're doing today is called Interracial Relationships Are Poisonous. Keep it black and strong. And it's poisonous to the African family. So I have my brother here, and we're just gonna go through a few things and just focus on the topic itself. You know, so family, we're living in a world where we see so much chaos going on with race and people. And one of the things that we've always been about is as you see the colors, you look around in the background, red, black, green, and gold. It's also the color of my favorite country, Ghana, and it's the colors of the Pan African movement. You Red for the blood of our ancestors, black for our people, green for the motherland, and gold for all of the resources that are continuously being stolen from the African continent.
Hmm.
Right. So it's one of those things where when we do tours and we do investments, focus on a black aspect to it. And the main reason why we focus on a black aspect to it is because we as a people literally have to start thinking about how we're going to build our wealth and our resources together and how we're going to build a level of harmony and build our race strong. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we're looking at today's June 19th. That's part of the whole Juneteenth. I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dirk, 1865, uh, Juneteenth. That's when one of those so-called official words, but the Emancipation Proclamation was January 1st, 1863. So you're looking at 165, 167 years later,
Mhm.
and we have, you ask yourself, where are we, where have we, you know, where have we literally, are going, and what's the situation with us as a people? Because that's a lot of years. And you and I still talking about the same thing as far as wealth and nation building.
Yeah.
But we've seen many situations of our ancestors working for 167 years to organize themselves on the highest level. Uh, and what usually happens is, you know, white devils just destroy what we build. And the famous one is 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, our famous Black Wall Street, and then there's many others before that and after that. And talking about Black Wall Street, you're talking about 99 years ago, brother. 99 years ago to this time frame. And after that time, we have dealt with integration and things like that to the point where we lost our level of self-sufficiency and self-reliance. So, people can literally, you can do what you want to do. If you're a sister and you want to get your white man because you say that you can't find a good black man, or you say that most of the men are funny or whatever the situation is, and vice versa for the men who feel certain way and things like that. It's like a lot of times, people have to deal with the reality of situations and not, you know, and look at focusing on trying to find the person like that's connected in their race versus saying, like sometimes you may have a situation where someone have dealt with some raggedy folks, and I'm always asking, why do you pick the worst of our folks to connect with and complain when you get what you already know is going to happen? So it's a level of lack of compatibility. You know, so that's what I'm looking at. So the things that we do is to encourage us to come together to do investments, connect on many different levels. So, brother, what I want to do is just open it up for yourself to share, what you want to share, and then we can just go back and forth. And if anybody has anything that they want to share that's watching the live stream, I'll look out for your questions, and I'll look out if anyone want to be added onto the video.
Okay, Bob Money, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, people, for listening to me this evening. First, I want to say that African self preservation of the Black family worldwide should be our objective in 2020. Self preservation. In order to preserve, you have to date an African. African needs to date Africa for the Africans. And blacks needs to date, or should be dating blacks to reproduce black and African children on this planet. If we are to survive, it's very important for us to reproduce purely, solely African children. That's to make up for the past losses from colonization and enslavement, the lives that were lost during the transatlantic slave trade. That's the makeup of that as well. So um, interracial dating, to give you a rundown, is very detrimental to our demise, and it's being used right now as a weapon to wipe us off of this planet at the current moment. Interracial dating, I'm gonna give you kind of like a science to it for the individuals. And Bo Money, I want you to kind of see where I'm going with this and get your opinion, because we live in the United States where it is a so-called utopia or a melting pot, to where interracial dating is it will be seen depending on where you're at geographical. You'll see an abundance of it. But to give you a rundown on interracial dating and the effects of interracial dating on our race, it's been used as a weapon right now to divide the black male and female from having strong families. So that interracial dating is basically just causing another generation of divide and conquer and divisiveness. Uh, and it's a strategy being used. Give an example. When Barack was president, I thought to myself, "Oh man, black men and black women are going to rise. They're going to do everything that they need to do." And all of a sudden, here comes somebody throwing in this, some rocks and pebbles and marbles on the floor so we could trip up. They brought in this interracial dating thing. You will see it on all the commercials. You'll see it in movies. You'll see a black female being promoted with the white male. Which that's most of the time is what you're going to see, and then you'll see the white female coming in with the black male. And so these subliminal messages that were put on and still being put on the television is, again, that's a dividing thing, a mechanism for all African people on this planet. And it's actually going on everywhere. It's going on in Africa. It's going on in Brazil, South America, Caribbean, Europe, everywhere in the world. Is interracial dating is becoming the norm, and that psychologically is damaging to the black family on the planet. And don't think, this is what I want to say, don't think that we cannot go extinct as a race. I mean, we can't go extinct. In order to stay in existence on this planet, you have to have a positive birth rate. And so we have to make sure we're in there. And I don't know if a lot of people know it, but Europeans are at a negative birth rate. So they're going to try to preserve their race, and being that they can't reproduce at a fast enough rate, they're promoting again this mechanism, this divide and conquer mechanism, which is used for self-preservation for them, but it's called race mixing. They're trying to mix with the African genes or melanated genes in order to stay in existence. If they get a little bit of melanin, they'll be able to survive, but that's for the benefit of them. But it's actually a non-benefit to us as African people, because that's cutting down on the population, that's cutting down on having strong communities and nation building. And also genetically, I believe if you go back historically, mixing your genes with other groups, it also creates it creates possible enemy mentalities. Meaning, when they mix with Europeans, it's been known when that mulatto is put in a position, he will rule over the actual pure Africans. That's been used as a weapon in itself. So I believe the interracial dating, I think, people are, they're free to date who they want. And I'm not promoting any type of hate, but I am saying that blacks should date blacks and Africans should date Africans, because it's self-preservation, and it's called survival. It's very important that we continue to preserve the African black family on this planet. Don't let this be used as a weapon to deceive and trick you. The most beautiful thing on this planet is black love. A person could be living in the wilderness or in poverty, but if they have black love, that can elevate them to a level unknown to humankind. Black love is the first love. Adam and Eve, that was the first black love on the planet. And that's why it's very important. They lived in the cave of treasures, and the Most High would come talk to them. That was black love. So that's a divine thing. Black family, black love, black relationships. And when you go with this interracial, dating other races, you are depleting your genetic makeup, DNA, and you're diluting it. You want to stay in a pure form, and that way you can stay in your pure mind, and this earth can be preserved. Black families preserve Mother Earth. So That's my opinion on interracial dating. Date who you want to date, but again, you're destroying your own nation when you date interracial. And also, let me give you this another point. When you're dating interracial, you're also creating enemies around you because there's a lot of people on this planet that disapprove of that. So you also putting yourself in danger. I understand you might be trying to change the mode, and bring in a new age, but you have people that think self-preservation, and they are not like us to where when you're African or black, we're not violent towards other people for doing that, but other races are because they are in desperate need to preserve their race, so they don't want to see the numbers dwindling because of you interracial dating. So again, it's a danger. It can be a very dangerous thing to date interracial wise. And in the States, there's been instances that has a historical history of killing and putting people in prison for interracial dating. So all of that is based on anger, jealousy, self-preservation, and they're going about it the wrong way, but they're trying to preserve their culture. So, and Bo Money, I just want to get your opinion. What do you think? What do you see here in the States when it comes to interracial dating? Is it a positive? Is it a positive thing? Does it benefit the African race and what the agenda is? What do you think?
Ultimately, brother, they're looking for survival, and where some of our men feel like they're going to destroy the white people by getting with the white women and having mixed children, and and it's not that simple because all these mixed children have to do is get with each other, and they create a fresh new race of white people, and then now you have extended it to where they were going to die out in about 25 to 50 years. Now they have extended to 100 years. So we have to be careful in our thinking and everything. But literally, that's where you and I are with everything. We're thinking about the future of us, and we're also thinking about, as I mentioned, when you look at all black people around the world, most of us were at one point either colonized or enslaved by a group or different groups or race of white European devils. And maybe it wasn't every single country, but it's like it was more than enough. If it was, even if it was just one or two, that's one too many. More than enough to where you think about all the countries in the Caribbean, you think about the aspects of America and South America and different parts of the African continent. That's a whole lot of black people, and all of us were affected by these folk system. So that's why you're telling people it's not just a situation. It's a situation of our future, but at the same time, too, as you mentioned, it causes issue because some family members, are just not trying to have that. But then somehow the folks talk about, oh, they love each other and they're gonna make it work, and they deal with all of the drama from the rest of the family members, and it's just a waste of time and energy. And literally, it's like, what kind of pride do we as a people have, when we look at having to just find ways to always run to the master? Because that's just another option of that situation. Just like I always like the word bedwench. Whenever people say that, I start laughing. But it's like, and then I don't know what's the opposite situation for men. But we find these roots in a situation where, our folks had to deal with some traumatic situation once, the other party of, the master's family find out about, what you're doing with this woman, or whatever the situation is. And enough of us has been hanged, burned, tortured, and things like that. And it's you ask yourself, what is the incentive? But some people, they just, they've been so traumatized and beaten the head about how beautiful white women are, or vice versa, how beautiful, and to the point where they take it to where, they're willing to just adjust themselves. Some people do it for the purpose of, certain resources and things like that. But at the same time too, it's like, is that the way you want to build your legacy, or do you want to build your legacy by connecting with your own folks, and you work and build from the ground up? And in many of these situations, that's what you hear. Like, example, you might hear about, like if I speak to one of my brothers, he may say, well, the Ghanaian women and Jamaican women, they like white men. And then you speak to someone else, they're gonna say, well, the brothers like English women and and Asian women and things like that. And and it just becomes that mix. But I don't know the percentage, but it seemed like it is just getting it's getting more and more to where it's a normality. When you think of, I have friends that live in the UK, United Kingdom, or primarily England or in the London area. And I remember my last few visits. As a matter of fact, I visited the UK 4 times,
Mhm.
mainly London. And that was one of the jokes when I was with my guests, and I was just messing with them because they was like, every time they turn around, they're showing me the interracial situation. So I would mess with them, saying it's not that bad, and I was like, and then they'll show me the children and everything, and I literally agree with them because it was a situation where when you grow up seeing that, you're gonna be like, okay, that's what I should do, that's what I should get into. And when you talk to somebody like myself, and then and you and your white woman trying to come on one of my trips, and I was like, nah, that don't work like that. I know we cater into black folks that can looking to reconnect back to the ancestral land, and even with our community, the same thing too. We are, no whites, no Asians allowed. So some people may say that that's kind of harsh and everything, but it's like, every time we try to build something as a people, we get infiltrated.
Yeah.
And some people use different methods of using us to infiltrate our own organization, but but for the most part, it's usually you have one or two white people that infiltrate you, and then they open up to the rest of the people. When you think about all the wicked white devils, the worst set of people that the planet have ever seen, aka European explorers, who got their name all over the world, they name almost everything, to where they would literally go somewhere and say that they discovered this place. Yeah. and
Right.
discover it, and you ask yourself, discover it by what means. And it's like, as soon as they say that they discover it, what they go back and tell it they queen or king or whatever the situation is in Europe. And then what happens after that? That country becomes dominated and destroyed. Example, America. uh, you have a few European explorers. Once they landed here, it's like the word got back to where now you have America, to where the native people that used to live here is almost extinct. And then you look at countries like Jamaica, where the native people, um, in the same situation. So now you have, and you name the country, and that's the situation. So these folks have a way of their level of discovering. So they come and to your country and they see revolution and nation building and things like that. Next thing you know, you're being attacked. Next thing you know, people are infiltrating you and things like that. So you're telling people it's more than just, because sometimes people like think we have an issue with color and things like that. And I was like, yo, you missed everything if that's all you see what we're talking about as. We're trying to build something of our own, and we're literally telling you every time we try to build something of our own, we have drama. And Tulsa Black Wall Street, what did they say? Some black man did something to a white woman.
Yeah.
Emmett Till.
Again, trouble. That's that trouble I'm talking about. It can put you in a dangerous position where you're gonna open up Pandora's box. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to. We don't want to have. You don't want that to happen. I hate to interrupt you on this, but when you talked about you had this interracial couple and they wanted to come on the community over in Africa and to build. One thing that I've observed here in the States is that when I see mixed couples, one thing I observe is that most of the time the black person in that relationship they are supporting white privilege indirectly, some directly and indirectly. They are actually uplifting Eurocentric ways, preserving Eurocentric culture under the cloth of a black face. So what I'm saying is that you're not going to find a white person in a interracial relationship, white male or white female. I'm just speaking Europeans because this is a topic of discussion. Is that we use an image for example. They're not going to uplift the black culture on this planet. They're not going to bring you anything to uplift you, to help you to build up your nation. They're coming, like Bomani said again, it's coming for decisive reasons. They're coming to bring it down or to take from it. They're not giving strength and power to anything. They're coming pretending like they're helping, but they're really not. So be careful and be wary of that. Again, interracial couples, most of the time, the melanated person is supporting white supremacy ideologies. They support and give their energy to the Eurocentric culture.
Absolutely, brother. And this wickedness, even it could be one of them situations where a black man's married to a white woman and she just call the police and say you raped her or whatever the situation, or even dating her, and
Yeah.
then you have a whole world of trouble coming to you.
Yeah, it's like the movie Get Out. You know, the movie Get Out is a prime example of the movie Get Out that came out, what, around 2 years ago? You know, that movie is a prime example of the brother that dated the white girl, and they went on a road trip, and he went and met the family, and he thought it was normal. They looked great. They had all the big house and all the privilege, and next thing you know, they get him in there, and they trying to suck his thoughts and his brain and his mind, his whole body out of him so they could jump in there and be him and take on his melanated strength. So that's an example. You want to be like the guy in the movie Get Out and had to fight for your life at the end of the day, and the girl is against you and the family turned against you. You know, they got a whole plan and a whole plot for your demise. And sometimes it can end in death. You know what I'm saying? Or if you like what's his Tiger Woods, to where you get with him, you think it's all good, and next thing you know, all of them turn against you, and your whole world fall apart, and then they get you for child support and alimony and lawsuits and you name it. Look at OJ. Look how they turned against him and ruined his life, and he's been in and out of prison for Lord knows how long. But again, it's a risk you take. But I highly advise you to stay black, be proud to be black, and love a black woman, black man, and a black woman love a black man and love your black children, because it's the most beautiful thing on this planet. So love, self-love, love your family, man. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And for all of those who just have to have a white woman, you have sisters that are light complexion. I mean, that's the most I can agree with you to join. So but if you just directly want to get with the enemy, you get what you deserve. And we've seen some bad situations. And don't start using, don't start trying to find your black card and call different things, because we're not going to feel sorry for you.
No.
It's one of those things where we just got to keep on beating into folks' head. If you're a black man in America and you are saying that you can't find a good black woman, which makes no sense, and if it does, then we have the entire African continent. And the same thing too, if you're a citizen, so you can't find a good man in Atlanta, Georgia, in New York, or wherever in the States or whatever, you have the entire African continent. And
Yeah.
so you have the Caribbean islands. That's how Stella got our groove back, remember?
Yeah. Yeah. We got a man, yeah, from the continent or from the Caribbean. Oh yeah. 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 And two, if a person cannot see money in their mind, when you look at just genetic makeup, when I compare any other Asian person to a European person, all of these genetically modified, I call them genetically modified humans, they cannot compare to the original people. I mean, look at us. I mean, we're beautiful people. We're fully wiped, old, millions of years old human beings, Homo sapiens. We're the best of what God created. And I'm not speaking from a superior complex. I'm speaking from just a factual mind point of view. And so, how can you deny a black or African relationship, melanated relationship? I don't know why. I don't know why a person couldn't put a value on the beautiful black woman and the beautiful black man. I just don't see why. A person would have to be. They are really insane to deny the beauty of black relationships. And don't get me wrong. If you're not into African people, women and relationships on the continent, you have melanated African people all across the planet. They're everywhere. South America, Caribbeans, Europe, Asia, melanated people are everywhere. So find your type. Find the type. If you want the African woman with the long straight hair, you can find that. You can find that in India. You can find that in Brazil. You want you can find the different features. Even if you want the white woman pointed type nose, you got to realize black women are the original. That is the nose is pointed. You can find it all across the features that you want. You can find the slim, thick, fat, whatever phenotype you want, you can find it in a black woman. Same for black men. You have that. So don't make your choices so narrow. Keep them broad. Be open.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have more than enough variety for folks, and we have more than enough places. Because I don't think there's No place that you can go, even Russia, you'll find some black folks. The coldest parts of the world and things like that. It's just we have to get to the real deal and stop making excuses and giving
Yeah.
reasons and get to and join the join the party of nation building. And we as a people keep going that route, we're gonna destroy our race. But if we just reorganize ourselves and start doing things for us, by us, even when I talk about the straight up the supporting black owned business, black investments, things like that, or even when we build what we need to build in Africa, to where half of the stuff that you see in the background, we'll find a way to manufacture it in Africa, so it's not said made in China and things like that. And we can get there, but sometimes people are not looking at the simple things. And one of the biggest issues I literally have with interracial relationships is the wealth situation. It seemed, I was watching the show Ballers on HBO, and it was a classic situation where, you have those big nice parties that sometimes athletes, celebrities, or certain people throw, and then you look in the background, and all you see is a bunch of the thirsty white women, your brother. And it seemed like they locked the scene down because I'm always hearing these stories from these sellouts. Uh, you know, like the guy that did that movie, it's a few of them. I'll just make one example of him. The guy that did that movie, Nat Turner, and I look at a lot of times when they have their articles and they're being interviewed and they explain, they always say the same thing too. Man, I was struggling in college, and she looked out for me. She was my best friend, and so on. And then you're like, did somebody write that down for you to say? You know?
Yeah. Trendy. Yeah.
Um, and it's just like it's just another one of those excuses. I look at what's that? The brother that runs the HUD department. Trump boy.
Ben Carson.
Yeah, Dr. Ben Carson, brilliant black man. Um, you know, you see him. He had his black wife you know from the get go.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things where sometimes we don't just big up people like him, and because he's with the Republican Party and Trump, which is just another story. Republicans or Democratic devils, which one is the better master? It's like that is a good example right there. And I even remember just watching some videos of Skip Gates, Henry Louis Gates, and he makes some of the best documentaries. I've seen a lot of his stuff from Reconstruction to traveling around Africa to the race situation in like Dominican Republic and Haiti, and it is always confused the hell out of me that he has a white devil woman and so into like black culture. But I don't know if it's a situation where they say, hey, you marry this white woman and we give you all access to do all the stuff you want to do.
Harry Gates has a European woman.
Yeah, sometimes you never know. And if I'm wrong, somebody, always, I'm looking for somebody to correct me if I'm wrong about certain things. But it's just these reasons and excuses, and just like you have these athletes and folks who, in their prominent situation, because one thing they never remember is that when they were into whatever they were into, it's usually the black energy of people supporting them from, when they were younger and so on. And then, next thing they got with a white handler, and the white handler made sure that they're around all of these white folks. And I don't know if they line up a bunch of white devil women and say, hey, you select from one of them and we'll make you famous. I don't know if it gets down like that, but literally we're gonna have to have a level of intervention to really set this straight. So people like myself, when we have business and things, I have policies in place. Like I talk about our tours and our community and certain business that we invest in, it's no white devils at all. And trying to encourage more of us to connect together. Just like our tour to Ghana, when we connect together, you're in a black country, and then also you travel with black folks. So, from the brothers and sisters, they can look at people in the group, and they can also look at people in the country. And that's why I'm not into taking any of our people to like England, France, and doing tours like that. Because I don't want any of us to go to the club next thing we get one of us get caught up into one of those traps. So the more we can create the environment to where our folks are not around these folks. Like I purposely moved to on the south side here, south of Atlanta. Once I finished my technical school in Virginia after I left the Navy, because I was like, I need to be around my people, my brothers and sisters. And I was like, Atlanta, Georgia has always been one of the places for us as a people. And then when I tell, my friends in New York City, some some of them sometimes are just one of their mind is caught in a time warp, because you're from the city also, and it's like, they think that everything is about a group of those redneck white devils running all over the state, hanging people and burning them and firing people and doing all kind of stuff, and it's like, and it's like, you live in America. Anything bad dealing with race can go wrong anywhere, no matter how, whatever red or blue or green or yellow you call your state. You're dealing with a system, and you're dealing with a country that's dominated by that whole system. So it's like, together, wherever you go, where more of us are, which are in the South, I realize we can band more of our resources together. And also, this is where I was able to really connect, to really find more Black people that's into certain things. I mean, I've been here for 19 years, in 2001 August, and until now, and it's been beautiful. I mean, and the best part about it is literally meeting a lot of incredible Black people, and it's a world of a difference. So,
Yeah.
but somehow, with all of us being Black and things like that, we always find one or two brothers or sisters to to go run to the enemy, and maybe they think that it's gonna take them to that next level, or bring more resources to them, or maybe is the fact, which is my personal opinion, they just self-hating Negroes who just don't appreciate who they are and don't appreciate our struggle. We as a people has been through the worst horrific situations in the history of humankind, and we have survived every single last one. Even now, when we are dealing with this modern day slavery, and some of us have said, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my resources together and put my energy together, and I'm going to do something with my own folks in Africa, or for the ones that are going to stay here, which I will always say it's going to be like that 95% versus 5 to 10% that are going to realistically leave. And then those numbers may change as time go along and we set certain things up. Uh, but uh, but literally, it's literally, we don't really have much of a choice if we want to see us progress, because all of this race mixing and everything, I don't see what the hell we have accomplished with it. Now maybe somebody needs to educate me.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing that I'm gonna use an example. So I'm looking at her name right now. The Tamron Hall. She's a Black female host on one of these TV shows. Tamron Hall.
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
Tamron Hall married or no, had a child.
the-
Yeah, and I was blown away. She's a beautiful Black woman, and when I found out she was pregnant, she's pregnant at like last year or something. She's 40, like 45, 46, and she had a healthy baby. But when I found out who the man is, because when I looked at Tamron, I'm like, oh, she probably got a nice looking brother, you know what I'm saying,
There you
and
go.
got it going on. Oh man, wham! You know, a picture comes out and it's a white Jewish dude. That lit. And I was disappointed. I was heartbroken. I'm like, really, sister? And she's so-called pro-Black, you know, in Black colleges and all this kind of stuff. And that's another topic. Can you be pro-Black married to, with the enemy or or whatsoever? But it's a mentality. It's a mental illness. I mean, when you ask that question, you don't know what the problem is. It's a thing called white savior complex, meaning people like Tamron and other Blacks feel like they have to preserve the white culture in order on this earth to survive and to have access and privilege and have resources, because white people have had this dominion over this earth, I guess you want to say, or their rulership or their Magna Carta. So she feels like, as Tamara feels like, we got to preserve, I got to have white in my child in order to preserve my safety from a female perspective. I got to have safety and security, and I have to have this child, because having this pure Black child, they're going to be subject to poverty, racism, all the things that you could imagine. But to prevent that, I have to have a mixed child. And so, but money, that answers probably partially answers your question, is that by having a mixed child, they feel like their child is going to be exempt, because they can play both roles. They can be in the white world, and then they could be in the Black world, and then they got pretty hair and pretty complexion, so they're gonna have they're gonna be accepted by all people, So that pretty much sums the psychological mindset of this interracial dating. And they're not just doing it for love; they're doing it for benefits and preservation of Eurocentric culture. because the greatest fear is me, me and you as black people, black men and women that support blackness, is that we're going to rise and we're going to have this type of Idi Amin type rulership mentality over everybody else on the planet. So it's like, no, we can't have them. They're mean. They're going to be violent. So we let them have any type of rulership or any say so. They're going to turn out and be like that, So it's a mentality, self-preservation, Eurocentric. Yeah.
Absolutely, brother.
Disappointment. Yeah. Disappointment. I look at her now as a totally different person. When I haven't even watched the show because how disappointed. I call it disappointed. I'm so disappointed in you, Tamron Hall. I mean, that's not the way to go. There's plenty of black brothers out there, man. You can just find them and they're good and they're waiting on someone. And look what you've done to us. You disappointed us all.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she could have reached out to you and you'd have married her, and you would have one strong black family.
Exactly. I feel like I could protect you. I might not have the financial means, but again, we can build. You don't have to go and get a millionaire and feel like you're getting a white male and feel like you're getting ahead. I'm willing to build with you. I mean, we can work this out together. You're not getting ahead just because he has money. You still are who you are. Cheating is not going to get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Build with your black man, build with the black family, build everything. Building and starting from the beginning is not a bad thing. And you're really not starting from the beginning because you've been on this planet. Your DNA has been there for millions of years. So you're not starting over. Don't jump over to the enemy thinking you're getting ahead and you're going to get your shine on. Just be who you are, love who you are, and build. And when you build with your men, you have a solid foundation. And nobody can take that away from you.
There you go, brother. There you go. And it's many names to name and things like that. Now, even your favorite female athlete.
Serena Williams.
Yeah, man. There you go, man.
Look, Serena Williams, Eve the rapper, which was raised.
Did that not like break your heart?
Serena, you know what? Serena to me, maybe her sister. I didn't look at her sister like that. She seems like black in her mind to a degree. But Serena, I wasn't surprised at her because she had a lot of failed black relationships and it wasn't successful. So I knew she would dub blackness and go over to the white because it turned into more of a I can't stand black men type mentality. She wouldn't speak that way, but I know when black women get frustrated, the first thing they do, they opt out and go get a black male. They don't say I'm gonna get a Chinese man or a Nigerian man or a Latin man. They go for the white male, and that's to make the black male upset. So and jealous and envious and all that stuff. But yeah, you have a lot of those celebrities. Eve is another one. Eve is somebody that was with Rough Riders and very black successful female rapper. She ended up going and dating and getting married a man. He's a millionaire from Europe, and he had like four children, 4 white children. Look like they from the Brady Bunch, and a Little House on the Prairie type family that he has. And Eve implanted herself in the family, and actually is trying to look like a European woman, wears the weave and long hair. And I'm like, what happened to her? Again, she took on that
a rough rider.
A rough rider took on a white supremacy mindset to promote the white family instead of having her own and digging through the bushes to find her king, on his throne. Or if he's not on his throne, you help him get there. You build it together. But she dubbed to go somewhere else. Whoopi Goldberg. The list goes on and on and on of the people that jump ship, and just because they think they can get an easier way out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's like, I was talking about all the brothers that's into showbiz and, or sports and entertainment, which, I don't never know which is, people sometimes get into these debates, who is jumping ship more than others. It was the brothers or the sisters, but it's equally as bad, But most of the time you're gonna see more of our brothers, especially on that level of this, because like we saw about the handlers and things like that, and folks just putting them in that situation. But we just have to, we as a people have to do more to push that agenda as far as Black nation building, and and
yeah. Usually, I would say this: when I see the men, I'm not saying it's right on either or, but interracial dating for a black male to a white woman in any other race is really could be used, and I'm not promoting this, but as a weapon of war. Meaning we're at war, they're trying to destroy us, and the black male, because he has the dominant seed, he can actually end the European race. He can actually drive them to genetic annihilation because of him being able to reproduce genetically more children than the Europeans. So if you're going to do anything black male instead of interracial dating, use it. If you're going to use it as a weapon, to dominate the enemy, if anything. But don't jump on that side because you want power and glory, and and the same for the black female. Use your wits and your humor to benefit your tribe rather than using your strengths to build up the enemy to destroy your own community, because at the end of the day, that's all you're doing. You're giving them your energy and your approval. So, again, be careful interracial dating because you're destroying your own.
Yeah, I got people posting a bunch of different things on the chat. Yeah, it's Venus, Serena, it's a bunch of it has gone out of hand. And that's why we push what we push, because ultimately, you can only do so much. So by us doing what we need to do and keep pushing it, that's how things change.
Yeah.
And, us just being clear about where we're going. Like, you've known me for about a decade, and since you met me, it's like Bomani and the same stuff. He's all about trying to get to Africa, bring people to Africa, and trying to build something. And it's all about black people and keeping it black and strong to where, I don't have no white friends. And earlier you mentioned something about people who have white partners. Can they really be certain things? And sometimes I never really know that question. I believe people can still make some level of contribution, but your best contribution is with your commitment, and from having a black family to doing black entrepreneurship to reaching out, helping more of us as a people. And that's it. I mean, it may not be the easiest thing for some people to accept, but then again, it's what we're doing, and we see the value in it, and we see that the only way we can move forward as a people. And it's to where when we have children, we have to put them in a situation. Like example, when we build this beautiful community and all we have is just literally black children around, we're not letting any of them sneak off to any of the those tourist resorts where they may have white tourists and things like that, and try to hook up and connect with them. You have to literally put your family and your folks in a situation where we can be amongst us. Like that community that you and I are part of, our Black Star Repatriation Pan-African community. As you can see, the layout of it is all of our children, they're going to be educated by us. And they're going to have other people around. When they reach older, they can interconnect and intermarry. And it's kind of like, we're just keeping, money and resources and everything in the family. And it'll literally be a crime for any of our children to marry or get with a white devil. And that's how we literally have to sanction it. Now, it's a little bit easier for us once we get to Ghana, which is a country dominated by black people. And then we have a community where it's literally straight black power to the highest level, black manufacturing, black this, black that,
right.
black world. And so you're telling people that if we really want this thing to change, look at creating those worlds that make it work. Like I was saying to you earlier, and I'm always saying to folks, if you have issues finding any black person to connect with, you have the whole African continent, and the same thing you're telling your brothers and sisters on the African continent, and you can only do so much of that because people have, their economic situations where maybe that's an outlet. But you're saying to everyone that is not a real outlet. That's poisonous and it's destructive. If you are a black person in the Caribbean or in Africa, there's black people in America and Europe, but you usually hear those stories of, of those interracial relationships. So we're going to keep pushing what we need to push, brother, and we're going to keep it strong and everything, and we're going to live by example, and we're going to make this thing work. And at no rate, I feel like we're going to be able to solve 100% of the situation, but that's not, not for us to solve.
Oh, yeah.
some people.
Nature is going to solve the problem. We're connected with nature and melanin. So melanin is in all creatures and all plants, all everything on this planet. So we're forced. We're going to be forced to date. Do what we're supposed to do because nature, the earth cannot survive without us. So nature's going to get us in check, and black man and black woman. So we're not going to worry about that. In due time, it's a process.
Absolutely, brother. And I'm just gonna post my links here,
Okay.
which all of my.
And let me mention this too, and we'll go on an ancient text, biblical standpoint, or you just say ancient text. When we were given laws in previous times, we were given. Let's just take for example Mosaic laws. Moses, when he was handing the laws, he gave them to the children of Israel, and they were warned several times throughout the process and through the laws. Do not go and mix and mingle with those different tribes, and he did that for a reason. He did that for self-preservation. So again, take those examples and take heed to some of the reasons why things were written. Because if you interbreed with beasts, some beasts, you call these humans some beasts, evil spirits, evil people, devils, satans. If you mix in with that bloodline, you're going to continue on promoting. The devil is going to live through that DNA that you're mixed with. So be careful. That's why the Most High gave those laws, is to preserve and to keep that wicked bloodline of Satan, Cain, or whatever you want to call it, off this earth and out into non-existence. So be careful of what you mix with. That's being dangerous. Can be very dangerous and detrimental to this earth. So just a word of advice.
Absolutely, brother. That's all about Black Power Nation, brother. And
yeah.
I have a few links up. That's our website, YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So you can link me, connect with me. I'm one of them people that always looking for real Black people to communicate with. And if you're not a real person about real things, I don't waste my time. And at this rate where we're going, I'm gonna have a whole link of people. Like that's what I've been working on the last 15 years of my life, just trying to connect to as many of us around the entire planet so we can do wonderful Black-owned business and Black-owned connection. And I'm one of them people that I'm always introducing and networking people together. And sometimes I can be a good matchmaker. I've been good at that also. I'll probably spend more time doing that, especially when we build our community and it's all about intermarriage and this us doing that at the high level where we're keeping the money all in the family. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how the white European Jews do it. I think they do it at the highest level. Where, I used to live in Brooklyn, New York, and like I don't recall of any situations with anybody messing with them. They were strong. They had the money, they had the connections, they had the power and all those things. And it's the same as we can do that in America also. But for myself, we're doing it in the African continent because it's about that time. We've given so much time of running around America trying to work things out and trying to fix things, and all we see is some of our best people, or maybe they're not some of our best people, more of our financially wealthy or sound people going off and giving the wealth back to the white devils and things like that. Yeah. But family, appreciate everybody tuning in and everything. And what I'm going to do is we're just going to close, and I'm just looking to see if I see any questions that I need to address and things like that. But beyond that, I have another.
I got one right here, Bo Money. It's a sister on here that said, I think her name is Matrell on a Mission.
Yeah, that's my sister Matrell that traveled with us on the last December trip.
Okay. I like what she said. She said most Black women date Black men. I can totally agree. I think
absolutely.
Yeah. I think what and I have to criticize.
I think it's probably like a 85 to 15%, or 90 to 10%, or 80 to 20. I don't have these exact numbers. You have some people go with those statistics, but yeah, absolutely, the majority is that situation. But even when we're looking at 5%, that 5% could be very poisonous and dangerous, because next thing you know, like I heard about these groups of folks that they're trying to create this new race of light-skinned folks. It's and I don't want to call any professional folks name and things like that, but I even see it in some people family where you look at like, do they have anybody dark in the family?
Exactly. I didn't something when it came to that complex again. That complexion is a weapon. Something that's been weaponized as well to hate the darker hue in relationships. So everybody again wants to. A lot of people want to. They don't appreciate that darkness or that brown. They want to have light skin or something that's closer to white. And so for me, growing up in the States, I didn't realize this, but I swayed more towards because my father's he's like lighter, and my mother's darker, and so each family had different complexions. But me personally, I've always been into my blackness. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and look at my Facebook page and photos in high school, I appreciated who I was, even though I grew up in Georgia. In what area I grew up in, north of Atlanta, outside the city, or like an hour and 20 minutes, we had black community, and the majority of the town I grew up in was white, but we had our own community. And I appreciated being around us in the community more than most people did. I always gravitated to everything when it came to blackness, even relationships. So again, you just have to preserve everything and love yourself, and everything else will follow. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, family. That's what this is about. It's about Black power, nation building, us organizing ourselves, building
Yeah.
that Black economics, and just figuring it out ourselves. And any of us who think that just jumping the fence is gonna solve the problem, be careful of jumping the fence, because bad things happen to people when they jump fence or jump ship.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Okay.
and trust me, I will be the last person to feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? Because we have our own problems to worry about. Uh,
Yeah.
Brother, appreciate your time and everything. We definitely got to connect on more of these subjects and things like that. And and we're gonna go from here. But I'll definitely be linking back with you and family. All
Okay.
the information for us is is in the description, and then you can send comments to the video or communicate with me from there on, and I will connect with you. And beyond that, everyone keep it strong, and I promise we'll do more of these live streams, especially since I couldn't go to Ghana, where I usually record all of my videos in Ghana or whatever country that we go to. An update on that is we're looking to go to Ghana December 24th to January 5th. Got a nice big group of, right now it's about 32 of us, and look to get up to about 50 people, which is the biggest numbers that we've ever gotten. And that's because our May journey had to be rescheduled because of these crazy ass people around the world milking this COVID-19 drama and milking the stupidity that's going on. But anyway, family, everyone, keep it strong. It was good connecting with everybody. And
Keep it strong, keep it black, and keep it love and family, and love your black woman, black man, and love your black, beautiful children. Love.
there you go, family. We're the black star of the world, beyond just Ghana and Africa, the black star of the world, and shining bright, strong, and black.
Remember what Tupac said: the darker the what, the sweet.
The blacker the berry, the darker the juice.
Okay, so don't shun us.
Juice.
Don't shun us because we got darker skin. We're the prime cream of the crop. Love the darker love all complexions, but don't shun us because we're darker and got a big nose, big lips. That's beautiful. Don't shun that. Love that. Produce more children that look like that. So remember that. Love blackness. You know what I'm saying? Black is very sweeter than juice.
Absolutely, brother and family. We keep it strong, and we'll close out. All right. The revolution continues.